Back on the Young Turks. We got a great third hour ahead for you guys. Is Sammy Sosa pulling a Michael Jackson? Interesting. We're going to have a lot of conversations about that, or at least one conversation, but it's going to be heavy duty. All right, now we have in-studio guests. All of a sudden, look at this. Christina Perozzi and Hallie Boone joining us. They are the authors of, look at this, The Naked Pint. See, I'm already into it. I'm already having fun. Okay, so Christina, let me start with you. What is The Naked Pint?
Well, The Naked Pint is basically a book about stripping away the misconceptions that people have about beer. That's why we called it Naked. You know, right now...
But there's nobody naked in it.
Well, there could be somebody naked reading it.
Okay, that's possible. Okay, all right.
That's possible, but there is nobody naked in it, per se.
So it's an unadulterated guide to craft beer is what I'm reading here. Okay.
Exactly.
So now, let me go to Hallie for a second. So are you guys trying to create an atmosphere like drinking beer is like drinking wine? In a sense?
I mean, we always say we're trying to share the love and let everybody know that it's on par with wine. It's the same, uses just as fresh ingredients, and you talk about beer the same way you talk about wine. You can say it's nutty, you can say it's chocolatey, it's got a little bit of citrus. I mean, it should be on par with wine, across the country, and we're just trying to share that with everyone. Okay,
so you guys have a website called thenakedpint.com. Now, I'm a weak sauce beer drinker, and I drink like Bud Light and Coors Light and unacceptable things like that. Why should I drink these fancy schmancy beers?
Well, first of all, the beers that you're drinking are made with kind of lesser ingredients, and they're very mass-produced and industrialized and kind of watered down for the lowest common denominator. Sorry.
Yeah, that's me. No, that's definitely me.
But there are a lot of craft brewers that use really great ingredients, that use really traditional brewing methods that make delicious beers that could even be a light lager like you're talking about, but it tastes a lot better, a lot fresher, more crisp, more hoppy, grassy, all these different kinds of things.
All right, so let me keep it real with you guys. I like it watered down, okay? Not because I like less alcohol. I'm in favor of alcohol. I'd like to get drunk quicker. But whenever I have these kind of beers, they're too heavy, they're too thick for my taste, and it's knocking me out.
Right.
Now, are there really lighter versions, or all of them like super heavy and charcoaly, as I would say?
Basically, you're used to a certain style, which a lot of those beers are. You're used to a lager, a pilsner style. So really, you just have to try that style in craft beer. And what you're going to find is that you'll have that light, effervescent, taste that you like, but with better ingredients. It's like, moving from a lesser wine to, the same grape, but a better product.
Okay. And
like
so,
from Franzia to it's like a boutique wine.
Right, except I have no idea what any of those are either.
Franzia you buy in a box.
It's the box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that you don't know that.
As long as there's alcohol in it, I'm in. But, all right, so I want to try one of these things you got going on here. Now, you guys don't make these, right?
We don't. We homebrew, so we make it at home, which is great because you end up with a lot of beer. You can make 5 gallons at home. It's really economical, and you can use really fresh ingredients as well.
Wait, are you married or are you single?
We're both. Neither of us are married.
Okay, because if I'm on a date and I come home and you've got homemade beer,
Right.
I mean it's over, right?
Right.
OVAH, right?
And if we turn on Monday Night Football,
Look out.
Okay, so guys love you. There's no way around it. I mean, you're making beer at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it makes you very popular to show up with your homebrew at a party. There is nothing like it.
So if we go back to Prohibition, I'm coming to you guys first because you're cooking up the best moonshine in town, right? In a matter of speaking. Okay, and so Christine, let me go to you again. What are the ingredients that we were talking about before?
Okay, so at its most basic level, beer is 4 ingredients. It's water, obviously. 90% of beer is water. Okay. It's malt, which are the malted grains that you use. It can be, most of the time it's barley, but it can be oats, it can be rice, it can be rye, it can be wheat. And then it is hops, which is what provides the bitterness in beer. And then it's yeast, which is what actually eats the sugar that the malts provide, and that's what gives the CO2 and the alcohol.
Okay, so there's a lot of grains in there. That's what's happening. But we're just, what do we do with them? We ferment them?
We boil them. You cook them, really. You boil them to get the fermentable sugars extracted from the malt, and you basically strain it so the malt husks are out of the water, and then you cool it, you add yeast to it. And during that time, you've also been adding hops, which give the balance to the sugar so it doesn't just taste like syrup.
All right.
And then you let it ferment for a little while, and then that's when you get the CO2 and the alcohol. You have to wait. It's cooking and waiting.
I got you. All right. So let me, as long as I'm, pounding at the end, I'm okay. All right. So, because I'm a big pounder of beer. But anyway, let me try one of these. Like, what you have, like, what is this, French? La fin du monde?
It means the end of the world. And it's
that's
it's a Belgian-style beer. It's made by Unibrew out of Chambly, Quebec, in Canada. Canadian. But I want to give you this because it's actually light in color. So it kind of debunks the myth that a dark beer has to be really bitter and really, that a craft beer has to be really dark and bitter and heavy.
Right.
This actually is
pretty... I came at you with that myth in like a second ago. Right.
Yeah. Beers are actually...
That's cool. I can't get it. It's not Friday.
Hallie.
It was the post game on Friday. We'd have
we'll
the whole
try it over
thing.
here.
Okay.
So I want you to actually...
Oh, no.
Did I go too quick?
Well, I want
Holy
you to evaluate
shit, that's really good.
Yeah,
I know.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Stop the press.
Hold on.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Okay. I'm sorry I jumped the gun, but you know me, I'm not BSing, okay? And if I thought it was bitter, I'd say it's bitter.
Right.
This is sweet.
This is sweet. It's called malty. So this actually, malty beers have a little bit more of that sugar we're talking about that comes from the malt, from the grains. It's also about 9% alcohol. So this...
Oh, that's like more badass,
That's like
right?
if you had like 4 or 5 of your light beers.
Yeah.
So
Really?
yes, you can just have one of those and you're doing well.
Yes.
All right. Okay, hold up. Where do I get this stuff?
You can get it at specialty wine stores a lot of times.
Oh, okay.
You can also find it... Now Whole Foods is doing a really great job with their craft beer selection.
Hello, you guys got the nakedpint.com. Why don't you sell it through there?
Liquor
Think
license.
about it. That's okay. All right.
Maybe in the future.
Laws. We ignore those here. Okay. So I'm sorry. Go back to why this tastes so good.
Well, I wanted you to kind of evaluate it like you do
yeah,
wine.
yeah.
Yes,
Go,
I
go,
do.
go.
I know. I want you to do it.
Okay.
I want you, put your nose in it.
Oh, it
and,
has a certain richness to the aroma.
well, don't you get fruity? Seriously, put your nose in it. Maybe some banana.
Some spice.
Some honey, maybe?
There
Hey,
you go.
Look at him.
Quite right. Okay.
Exactly, and look at the color and look at the carbonation, what it might tell you about it. But
Okay.
really, what
Can I drink the rest of it now?
Sure, now you can drink. Yes.
Okay, all right.
I just wanted you to appreciate it.
No, that's really good. I'm really surprised. Look, I
Some
keep it real.
spice. Yeah.
Like, I didn't think so. I really didn't. You were going to hand me something and it was going to be, like, bitter and taste like a pine tree.
Right.
But it doesn't. It's really good. So what do they find at thenakedpint.com or the book, The Naked Pint? Like, where to get this stuff, what to eat it with?
Yep, everything's in there. We talk about how to pair it with food, how to cook with beer. We have some great recipes from some chefs using beer as an ingredient. You can figure out how to brew in there, lots of different styles, figure out your new favorite beer, like this is in here, the Fin du Monde you would find in there if you were looking for that style of beer.
How hard is it to make the beer at home? Because I think, like, a lot of people might think, like, oh, if I could make this beer at home, that would be super cool.
It's not as hard as you think. I mean, it is really like cooking and waiting, like Christina said. And, in the book, we address that. It's a lot easier than most people think. And, you might make a couple batches that don't turn out, as well as you wanted, but really, at the end of the day, you have beer, which is great.
All right. And you guys are also have a website, beerforchicks.com. What's that
Beer
about?
for Chicks. So that's a website that I started about 3 years ago, and we both met working at a craft beer bar in Santa Monica, and we really saw the need that people had, especially women. Now, I'm not saying that men know any more about beer than women do, but women had a fear of it. They were intimidated by it, and it kind of was a masculine kind of subject. And so I wanted to have a place where women could get good information about beer, not dumbed down. I'm not trying to make it chicky or anything, but good information about great beer that empowered them and helped them be comfortable in the beer world, ordering craft beer and getting to know it.
All right, and finally, Hallie, why beer? Like, I mean, there's so many things to do. Like, you have a career in beer. That's fascinating. Why?
We both love fine food. We always both enjoyed, a great glass of wine, you know, good scotch. I mean, spices, anything in that world. And once I started learning about beer, we both realized that, you know, you have the same thing in beer. It's, you know, except that it's more accessible, I would say. There's no snobbishness, really, you know, and it uses fine ingredients. And so if you're into fine food, there's no reason not to get into the beer world. I mean, the Belgians have been doing it for years, you know, having fine beer and fine food. And so it just kind of made sense, you know.
I hear you on that. All right, I've decided I'm going to add one more question. How often do you guys get drunk?
Not as often as you would think.
Yes. We try to keep it, you know, respectable.
Yeah, we're about,
we get happy.
We're about quality versus quantity. Do you know what I mean?
Do you get a solid buzz on you once a week at least?
Maybe.
That's fair to say.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right. From your answer, I'm getting at least twice a week. Okay, that's all right. So it's Hallie Bone and Christina Perozzi, and the website is thenakedpint.com. The book is The Naked Pint. Everybody check it out. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So
Thank you.
much.
All right, we'll be right back, Young Tourists.